iPhone. Is this a counselor or is this a guest?
Guest.
Thank you.
Ms. Miller, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. All right, I'd like to call the City of Shaniko Special City Council meeting to order. It's June 11th, 2026 at 6:03 p.m. I call this meeting to order. Council members in attendance, Councilmember Brown, are you here?
Present.
Councilmember Kegel?
Here.
Do we have Councilmember Marquardt on the line?
We do not. We have a
Not.
guest.
And then Krista Miller, City
Correct.
Recorder, for you in
Here.
attendance. And then we had somebody jump on there at the bottom. Is that Councilmember Marquardt? Nope.
No, this might be Jesse Christensen. It's a 208 number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me? This is Jesse Christensen with Eco Engineers.
Yes.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hello.
All right. So we have two council members and the mayor in attendance, according to the city charter. That is a quorum. We have I'd like to entertain a motion to amend or approve the agenda as
Pledge of
presented.
allegiance.
Huh?
Pledge of allegiance.
Oh, sorry. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To
of
the
the
flag
United
of
States
the
of
United States of
America,
America,
the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
under God,
indivisible, with
indivisible,
liberty
with
and justice
liberty and
for all.
justice for all.
All right, so I'd like to approve the agenda. The council members, have you both had an opportunity to look over the agenda?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So I would entertain a motion to amend or approve the agenda as presented.
I would make a motion to approve it.
Councilmember Kegel has made the motion to approve or amend the agenda as presented. Councilmember Brown, do you have a second?
I second.
Second. So we're gonna go ahead and have the vote since
Wait, Mayor,
yes.
I did send out a last minute resolution. I'm guessing nobody checked their email. Apologies for that. I do have it up on the screen. So if we could add that at the end, it's part of the budget.
Part of the budget resolution.
Resolution 2026-15.
So this will be agenda item 10 then?
2026
11.
11.
This will be item number 14.
Oh, on the back.
Item number 14. Right. And that is
2026-15.
what is it?
A resolution declaring the city of Shaniko's election to receive state shared revenues.
Okay, so
I would like to amend the motion on the table.
yeah, I would entertain a motion to amend the agenda to include the 2026-15 Shaniko elections to receive state funds.
Did you make a motion?
Yeah, I was gonna word it because we had the motion and the second. I was just gonna rephrase that we amend the motion to approve the agenda as with the added item of resolution 2026-15.
Okay, do I see here a second on that?
Oh, yeah.
So we've got a motion and a second to amend the agenda to include the 2026-15 resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, let the record show that that passed with 2 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions. So now let's call for the vote on accepting the agenda with the motion. Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Kegel?
Yay.
So let the record show that this motion to approve the agenda as presented with the amendment has passed. The vote is 2 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions. So we're going to move on to the consent calendar. This is things we've already done and we've already gone over. Do you want to say anything for this, Ms. Miller?
I do not.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I make a motion.
Councilmember Brown makes a motion to approve the consent calendar. Councilmember Kegel has seconded that motion. Unless there's discussion,
No.
I'm going to call for the vote. Councilmember Kegel, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Let the record show that the motion to approve the consent calendar has passed with 2 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions. Number 6 on our agenda is the reports. Water report is first. Councilmember Brown, who also acts as the small water operator in Shaniko, please give your report.
Yes. Let me start with the water report, and then I'm going to segue into the block grant report regarding the water system. So currently the reservoir is at 7'11". I compare this to the previous years. The last 2 years there happened not to have been a quorum in June, but back in 2023 and 2022, those levels were at 7'5" and 7'3" respectively. So 7'11" is pretty good, and I'd like to make a suggestion that perhaps the reason that we've got higher levels is one, that we have repaired the running restroom in the women's room. The ADA toilet is no longer running, and then just since we're comparing year over year, a reminder that we had a pipe issue out back behind the city hall, and that was fixed last year as well. So 7'11" is where the reservoir sits. The chlorine level is at 0.2, within safe levels for human consumption. And as a general note, the power did go out this morning. It was a scheduled outage for 1 hour. The scheduled outage was much shorter than originally thought. And due to the outage only being 6 minutes, I called North Central Public Health to chat with them. They talked with Oregon Health Authority and said we don't have to do any backflow testing because it was out for such a short amount of time. So there is no boil water notice in regards to that, when typically there might be for a power outage. That's the water report as of the levels and whatnot. I would like to go into the Shaniko water system improvement update. With the Business Oregon block grant, we are on the very last action item with Kira McLeod, and this is an update we have for them. It says, regarding the historical requirements, Willamette Cultural Resources Associates is continuing their work navigating and fulfilling the requirements of the Section 106 consultation. The last update was that the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs indicated that Shaniko project site was an area with historical significance. So they are continuing to work with the tribes to get past this element of approval. The tribe has requested further documentation to identify the area's historic properties of religious and cultural significance. We expect that this will be hopefully done by July. There's a scheduled meeting at the end of June with Warm Springs tribe elders to share their oral history of the story. So mid-July is when we can resubmit our revised Section 106 consultation to SHPO. The archaeological and environmental study came back, and that's all good to go. So like I said, this is the very last piece of the planning stage for this block grant. And then the next phase, once we cross this bridge, will be to apply to actually dig in and get the work started. That's all I have for the water report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. We're going to move on to the fire report. the report for the fire department right now. The fire department did receive the volunteer staffing grant this year. The people on the department that I've spoken to are keeping track of their hours. We are going to be doing some training. If there's anyone who is interested in joining the fire department, I think we have about 5 people right now. They can reach out to me or Miss Miller. There was this lovely sheet on the back of the packet. I'm imagining that that is on the website. Thank you, Miss Miller, for putting that together and letting people know that the fire department is looking for volunteer firefighters. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. We have not compiled the May hours for people yet because the grant came in late, so we're still working on that. So,
Mayor, is
go
there
ahead.
any update on the burn ban?
Yeah, the
Any
burn
information?
ban, so I'm going to be posting the burn ban on the City Hall website and on the front of the new City Hall building for people to view. It's going to largely mirror the county burn ban. There might be a minor change, but look at the website for that and look at the posting for that. I'm not sure exactly what the minor change is going to be yet. And that's for the fire department. The mayor report, there's not well, there's a couple of things. I'm not sure if was clear about this in the last meeting, but we were able to pay the Abyss pump vendor off completely, which was a big load off of our shoulders and a big thing to get off our plate and stop paying interest on that. The backhoe situation is we're looking to find out if the backhoe is now a total loss. The insurance adjusters will be out, I believe this week is sometime in the next week is what Miss Miller told me. Is that correct, Miss Miller?
I do have an update about that, Mayor. I spoke with the CIS today, and this may be something that the council would like to address. Being that it was, there are no charges being filed, they are not taking it as being stolen, therefore they may not cover any of the damages. They are going to have underwriting take a look at it. They got the police report, so we're staying up to date with that.
Okay, so for anybody that's is not aware of what happened, the backhoe was taken without authorization off of city property with a master key that was not the key that the city would have used, and then the backhoe was used for unauthorized purposes, and the hydraulics were damaged in that process. And so the backhoe, while the engine will start, the backhoe is no longer functioning because the hydraulics are broken. We made a police report, and I was asked by the deputy sheriff if we wanted to press criminal charges. At the time, I told them no. I told them that we would take it to the council. I don't know if this is something that the council wants to discuss. My understanding was we had 30 days to let the sheriff's department know if we wanted to make it a criminal matter. That is an unsavory situation any way you look at it, but the bottom line is that the backhoe was not taken with authorization, and I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about this?
I don't want to talk about it right now. Can we talk about it? Can we make it do we need to make it a?
We are, Miss Miller, we might take this into the executive session that we're going to have upcoming, I think next week. We talked about having an executive session. I think this might be the kind of thing to take into executive session so we can have some legal deliberations about how to proceed with this. Do you have thoughts
Would
on
you
that?
like me, I know, I agree with that, and would you like to schedule that on the same day as the plat meeting, which is June 24.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so that kind of puts the end to the mayor's report. Miss Miller, will you proceed with the recorder report?
Thank you. I just have a couple of announcements, and one, yes, is the flyer. We are officially announcing the vacancy of previous counselor Stacy's position. So if there's somebody that is wanting to serve, I'll be up this weekend, put out an application. We can make that appointment at the next council meeting, or would you like to also do that on the 24th?
Traditionally, the position was announced and then there it was reviewed after 30 days. That seems like, do we want to have some discussion on that? How do the council members feel about that? Do you want to wait the 30 days?
I'd like to weigh in on that. I think giving a 30-day application period trends with how we've always handled vacancies with announcing the application period and allowing 30 days. So let's go ahead and
Yeah.
put that on the July regular council agenda.
Okay.
Okay, and then also there are the positions, excuse me, that the council passed. Now that we're mostly behind with this budget, hopefully getting some people appointed for backup water and those things, we can get those filled. I'll also be putting out those applications. Um, Boxar Water, we're making payments with them. There was arrearages in over $2,000. They were okay with half now and then making monthly installments. Otherwise, they were going to stop service with us. So did make those payment arrangements. And then I'm going to be sending out updated contact information with the water quality report. That if folks would allow either their invoices to be sent by email, they would like to, now that we have QuickBooks, we can, use the credit card system, track those more carefully, but they will go out via email, and many of them did go out when we first got QuickBooks signed back up, so I have to kind of go back and figure out who got sent what. So updated contact information for that. And then the volunteers that are putting in the hours, I do need hours back so that I can keep track of how many, roughly hours people are serving. If we could kind of be diligent about that. Also, I'm putting the meetings on YouTube so that we can get them off of Zoom and before we migrate over with the website. So City of Shaniko has a YouTube channel, and that's where we'll be posting the meetings, and it will save space. It will save Pam time from putting them up and then having to redo it and things like that. So that's all I have for now, besides what was in my paper report.
Thank you, Miss Miller. I have a question for you. How far back in the rears, if you know, were the Boxar testing?
Some of them to 2018.
Oh,
There
okay.
seem it seems like there was this constant balance that was being brought forward and being brought forward, and then more charges, and a lot of those it's been um, it was never zero for a long time.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Miller. Um, we've got public comment here on my agenda right now. It looks like we don't have anyone in the room that would like to make a comment, do we? No. Well, we've got one iPhone there. Is the person with the iPhone interested in making any public comment at this time? I guess I'll give that a no.
Yeah.
Oh, they're on meeting.
No, not at this time.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to move on to number 8 on the agenda, which is to approve the engineer of record. We have Ms. Miller. Do you want to speak to this real quick?
Sure, let me pull up my staff report. You did approve the RFQs. We posted those on the League of Oregon Cities and with Gorge News, and let me get up there. Let's see. Okay. Um, so we did post those and we had 2 inquiries. We had 1 response. HECO engineers. I spoke with Jesse. I have previously worked with HECO. I'm happy with their qualifications, their work product, and their advice. Um, and I believe you all have had a chance to read what was sent by HECO. And Jesse is available for any questions if the council wishes.
So we've got the approving the engineer of record, and we do have Jesse on the line with HECO.
Yeah.
Do either one of our council members have any questions for Jesse at this time?
Yeah, I do. Thank you for joining us, Jesse. I appreciate the thought you put into this of meeting us where we are and doing a little bit of research to some of the projects that we have in motion. With regards to the water system improvements, of course, when we write the block grant and we put out for a bid, how would you be working in that capacity for the build out section of that block grant, assuming we get it?
Good afternoon or evening. Sorry, Jesse. In the capacity of the construction of the project, or in capacity of the writing the grant or helping with the construction drawings, which capacity do you mean? I apologize.
Yeah, I would say one in regards to the grant writing, and then number two, would you be working with another engineer who would be doing the work, or would you be project managing that as it came through the grant bowels?
Well, we have helped in the past working with Business Oregon and other entities to get grant funding for cities. As for doing the engineering work, we do all of that in-house. We work with a lot of smaller cities in Oregon and Idaho doing municipal engineering, water and sewer and stuff like that. So we would be doing the design work on the water system.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Kegel, do you have any questions for Jesse?
I don't. I'm thrilled about this.
Ms. Miller, do you have any questions or comments you'd like to make about this engineering?
I maybe Jesse, you can just speak a little bit about like for maybe folks out there that might be listening or listen to the recording later and maybe don't read the packet. Can you just kind of summarize what a city engineer does and kind of like what your responsibilities are?
We have all the responsibilities. No, I'm kidding. City engineer comes in, and it depends on the what you're looking for out of your city engineer. But we, as city engineer for a lot of cities, will help the city with sewer and water projects. We do sewer design, we do lagoon design, we do lift station design for the water projects. We help with grant writing for parks, water, sewer, all of those things. We can, if we can manage larger projects for the city with ODOT or something like that. If ODOT's coming through to do a design, we can help manage that and be your representative in those meetings. So we do a wide range of everything you'll need us to do, down to park planning, if you need something like that, grant writing, master plans, sewer, water master plans, facility plans, for all of that, working with Oregon DEQ and Oregon Business Oregon and OHA for your water permits and your DEQ, helping you if you have I&I issues. We work through those with DEQ. We have cities with memorandums of understanding right now, which they've gotten in trouble by DEQ, and we're working through the process to get them out of trouble. So we do all of those things for you as city engineer.
Thank you. And then also just on the smaller scale, so for example, if they wanted to do something about the turn corner in downtown Shaniko there, or if they wanted to do parking, some sort of parking or not parking, you could also advise on those kinds of issues.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jesse.
I've got one more
Thank
question.
you.
Go ahead. Councilmember Brown has another question for you, Jesse.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how to phrase it or what I'm looking for, but I just wanna. It looks like you're probably aware that a lot of the downtown areas are in their state preservation. And so, do you have experience or a point person who would be able to help navigate any updates to buildings with regard to staying historical?
Do you, Councilman Brown, do you mean preservation structurally, electrically, mechanically, or just working with the state preservation committee?
Just working with the state preservation committee.
We do that. We do one of the things that I don't it's probably in our packet is we do a lot of national park work. So we're used to all of the rules and regulations that come along with the preservation and historical areas of well, our nation basically. So, you know, we have worked with the architects and the geologists and the paleontologists and all of those people all the way through many of our projects, including in the state of Oregon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jesse. So at this time, unless there's any other further questions, I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2026-13, appointing HECO engineers as the city engineers for the city of Shaniko, Oregon.
We'll make that resolution. I mean,
Councilmember Kegel has made the motion. Do I hear a second?
I second.
We got a second from Councilmember Brown. At this time, unless I'm interrupted with further discussion, I'm going to call for the vote to approve Resolution 2026-13, appointing HECO engineers as city engineers for the city of Shaniko. Councilmember Kegel, how do you vote?
I do. Yes.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Let the record show that motion to approve Resolution 2026-13, appointing HECO engineers as city engineers for the city of Shaniko, Oregon, has passed with 2 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions.
Welcome
Next-
aboard, Jesse.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you, Jesse.
And thank you, Mayor, Council, everybody. Just to let you know, I'm coming out to the small cities meeting in Wasco next week. So if anybody's
Wasco.
making the trip up, I'd love to meet you.
That'd be awesome.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to the Resolution 2026-09, adopting financial internal control policies. I believe the council has had an opportunity to look at that. Ms. Miller, will you summarize that for people that don't have that? For people, like you said, people, citizens, and people watching the YouTube channel.
Absolutely. And so financial management and internal control policies are extremely important. It's one of the things that a lot of small cities get dinged on. When my goal here for you is to set you up with a structure that somebody coming in maybe doesn't have the experience, but can look to your policies and procedures and be able to understand what their role is and where, especially when it comes to finances. And so internal controls are the one of the things you can get dinged on in an audit. You're going to be doing a lot of grants, it sounds like, and that's the plan. You at some point may end up having to do a full audit. Here you can say we have these internal control policies. Also, it helps establish with grants and other vendors that you are ensuring that their funds are safe with you. Sometimes they ask for these, sometimes CIS might ask for them. It's good best practice. So I'm happy to read it, or you can move along.
The council has both had the opportunity to review that.
Mhm.
I don't think we need to read all of it through. I would entertain the motion to adopt Resolution 2026-09, adopting financial internal control policies.
Clarification, I've got at the top of this resolution a differing number than I do on the agenda. I just wanted to clarify, Miss Miller, that we've got the right resolution number.
I just saw that. Let's see, it is 09 at the bottom in the footer, so I will change that
That was
right
the
now.
That was the only question that I had. Everything else looks great.
09.
So the actual resolution is 09? Okay,
Right,
okay,
which is what I had said.
yep.
So I would entertain a motion to accept Resolution 2026-09, adopting financial internal control policies.
Yes, I'll make a motion.
Got a motion from Councilmember Brown. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Got a second from Councilmember Kegel. Without any further discussion, I'm going to call for the vote on this. Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Kegel, how do you vote?
Yay.
Okay, let the record show that with 2 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions, the motion to approve Resolution 2026-09, adopting internal control policies, has passed. Moving on to Section 10. This is Resolution 2026-10, adopting a newspaper of record. And the newspaper of record, Ms. Miller, which newspaper of record have you identified?
Thank you, Mayor. So I had heard a couple of different options. I have checked all of the options I heard. One of the media outlets one is only digital. There's another one that does print that comes to Shaniko. It does not have public notice, and therefore the only one that prints and has public notice is the Columbia Gorge News.
So that's the Columbia Gorge News is the newspaper of record.
Correct. Which is required by ORS 193.020. Is it has to be print and it has to be circulated in the general area and have public notice.
All right, so Councilmember Kegel or Councilmember Brown, do you have any comments or questions on this resolution?
I don't.
No.
So at this time, I would entertain a motion to accept Resolution 2026-10, adopting a newspaper of record, which would be the Columbia Gorge News. Do I hear the motion?
I'll make a motion.
Councilmember Kegel makes the motion to accept Resolution 2026-10, adopting a newspaper of record. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second for Resolution 2026-10, adopting a newspaper of record, which would be the Columbia Gorge News. Without further discussion, I'm going to call Councilmember Kegel. How do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Let the record show that that is 2 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions to pass Resolution 2026-10, adopting a newspaper of record, the Columbia Gorge News. Moving on to agenda item 11
I'm not,
is,
sorry.
go ahead.
I honestly, I did not read through this one. If I could have a minute.
Okay, okay. You keep reading, I'm going to talk a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
So on the agenda, item number 11 is Resolution 2026-11, and this is a resolution establishing procedures for communications with the city attorney. I think the idea behind this is to keep costs down and not have too many people trying to engage with the city attorney, which can run the bill up. Now, this resolution has the city attorney, it has the city recorder as the primary contact for the attorney. I'm not,
I'll add if I may,
please.
that the primary point of contact will be the city recorder, but nothing in this resolution shall prohibit communication between the city attorney and city council, mayor, or other authorized representatives.
I have a question. Not to bring up the past, but the city recorder last time ran the bill up quite a bit. Does that mean that? Does she have to kind of be authorized as?
Well,
Or not you, but
we could have this discussion now, obviously. if you want to take some time to look through
Okay.
this some more,
Okay. Is that
maybe
Monday,
outside of the
December 3?
meeting, if you were interested in tabling this
Yeah. Can
right
we?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Miller, I think what Councilmember Kegel is suggesting is that there was some problems in the past with previous city recorders uh, being the point person with the attorney and having a bill that went up pretty high. And I think she's looking for some guardrails,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
May I speak to the council about this?
Please, go ahead.
So when we pass a budget, we are supposed to stay within this budget. This is our charge to stay within this budget. Now, it's also our charge to monitor how much is being spent on fees. If your recorder is not doing that and providing you financials that you oversee, well, then you need to take action against your recorder. That is your charge. And this is not me scolding you. This is me trying to empower you as counselors to, have that oversight. So if that happens in the future, that you can rein that in. Where it gets problematic if you restrict this is if we have election questions, if we have records request questions. To know what is appropriate, where to get other resources from, who you can. I always contact free resources before I go to the legal questions. So empowering your recorder to take the training to know where to get the free answers, whether it be on the OAMR listserv or being in the manager's listserv and things like that. If you restrict that, then we have questions that we're playing telephone and we're not responsive to the public. So that's where I caution you in restricting the information, but for you to have oversight when you're provided those financials. And I'm giving you that structure so that when the next person comes in, there is a regular expectation that you have real-time financials so that you can monitor that.
Good,
Can
Councilmember
yeah,
Kegel.
thank you for that, and I appreciate that, and I that is great. That reaching out and trying to find the answer before you go to legal counsel, which wasn't happening last time, and there was just a bill that was having to be paid every month, and it was a lot, you know. So I
Also, one more thing, I did look at the invoice from a past attorney, and a lot of those costs were recoverable. So making sure that you're recovering the costs that are, because some of them were for projects, some of them were records requests. And what I found today is that there was a records request policy that was put out was never passed. You could have captured thousands and thousands of dollars if the person wanted to pay for those records. So that there's a couple of different things. It's not they were appropriately asking the question, but the council didn't appropriately pass things to allow to recapture those funds.
gotcha. Okay.
Um, is there any more discussion about this? It sounds
No.
like, I
Yeah,
mean, are you
I'm okay with it.
feeling good about the
Yeah.
guardrails?
Yeah.
So to chapter 10, section 42 of our charter states that basically no vendor, the city cannot indebt itself to 10% or $5,000 without 10% of the budget or $5,000, whichever is less. And so that would be something that I would imagine the recorder would keep an eye on if we have a vendor like the city attorney who is running up a bill that reaches upwards of $15,000 to $20,000. That would be a violation of our charter.
In addition, I believe that the budgeted line item for the city attorney services are also $5,000. So we do have multiple restraints in place. My thought is it is important to have a primary point of contact, and to put somebody we trust in that position to make sure that we're asking the appropriate questions as counsel of the recorder, and getting those. And again, to Miss Miller's point, LOC is a great resource. You listed one as well. And then we're also, Shaniko is in the Connected Communities Main Street network as well. So that's just an additional resource, maybe not for legal advice, but for resources that we can reach out to. So with the understanding that the recorder takes note and accesses these resources first, communicates with the
Yeah.
council in regards to what the bill is, and is transparent with that, I'm completely comfortable with moving forward with
Yeah.
resolution
I
2026-11.
am too, actually.
Would you both expect the recorder to notify you of ongoing communications
I
with the
think-
city attorney?
I think out of ignorance, I didn't pursue enough, like, as far as, you know, what you know, what are you doing that could like allow or stop some of this communication? You know, it's like $200 for an email. No, I mean,
Ms. Miller, do you imagine yourself putting in your recorder report each month, communicating with the council as to how much money,
what's being spent?
what's
Yeah.
being spent on attorney's fees?
If we're gonna do that with everything else, I understand your hesitation, but again, if we're nickel and diming this thing, like I'm gonna be afraid to call. You're gonna put me on pins and needles about um what can I call? Should I ask? I am very well aware of your situation. I'm aware of your budget. I did your budget. And again, I'm doing all of my best to try and pay your past vendors while also being respectful of your resources. So, um,
And
respectfully, I like you and I can have that conversation.
Sure.
And if you would like to, do something with the council, I do work for the council, but I don't feel like coming every month and saying, well, I made a call, and then, well, how much was that? And what did you talk about?
right,
You get it.
right. And
I don't think that's
I think
okay.
if I may, I think what Ms. Kegel is concerned about is that you will not one day be sitting here as the recorder for the city of Shaniko, and the guardrails that we set up, would be for whoever sits in that chair one day.
May I?
This
But-
is also a living document as well. Excuse me. This is a living document. It's easily repealable. It's easily changeable.
Right.
So again, if you feel like something is not right, Council Kegel, you have the right to ask to have that on the agenda so that you can repeal it or you can change it, or if something is just, you have the power. But so we are trusting each other.
Okay.
We're
Right.
trusting each other.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Councilmember Brown, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just going to speak one more time in favor of this and compare to a couple of the other functions that we have in city council. And I do understand that we're looking to build up trust and educate people, but I'd compare it. I'm the point person in the Business Oregon grant, and while we approve a certain budget, and then the billing is different, but I don't report every time I
Right.
talk to them or what exactly they said. I do give a summary, and then I'd compare it also to being a water master. If there's a box R test, like the last time the electricity went out, I didn't necessarily itemize about how much that was. It just absolutely needed to be done, and you trust me in that position to do that or to purchase chlorine if there's a shortage as well. So I just wanted to compare it to that of trusting you put in the position, which I know can be a tricky situation, but I think this is important to go forward with, so we do empower the recorder to be able to do his or her job.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. I would like to add that I think that it's really a positive thing to have a transparent and open discussion where the council gets to express concerns, and I appreciate Ms. Miller responding to those concerns.
Thank you.
So at this time, I would entertain a motion to for resolution 2026-11, which is a resolution establishing procedures for communications with the city attorney.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion from Councilmember Kegel. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a second. I've got a motion and a second from Councilmember Brown to approve resolution 2026-11, which is a resolution establishing procedures for communications with the city attorney.
Great.
Any more discussion?
No?
All right, if there's no more discussion, I'm going to call for the vote on this. Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Kegel, how do you vote?
Yay.
Yay. So let the record show that with a vote of 2 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions, resolution 2026-11, a resolution establishing procedures for communications with the city attorney, has passed.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. So moving on to item number 12, which is a resolution 2026-12, which is a resolution establishing a policy prohibiting the loan of city-owned property. I believe this is sort of centered around the backhoe, and perhaps this is something that could be would be actually moot if the insurance company lists the backhoe as a total loss. Do you guys want to move forward with this, or do
Can
you?
can we discuss this when we discuss the backhoe stuff?
We could.
Could we?
We could. Council,
No,
Ms. Miller, do you
no,
have anything to say on this?
no, we cannot discuss this resolution during executive session.
Oh, okay,
This
okay.
is
Then,
only litigation.
gotcha. Then can we put it on the next, can we move it to the,
May I speak to it before you decide to table
Yes.
it?
Go ahead, Ms. Miller.
Thank you. It's not, it is centered around the backhoe. However, it is good policy, and especially after speaking with CIS today, never having heard of a city have some sort of loan policy. And I understand that that has been the practice. There is a lot of concern over liability. And so I just wanted to put that bug in your ear because, especially if we're going to end up eating the costs on this, we can't afford that. And we can't afford if somebody were to unfortunately perish because of that, the policy wasn't there. And maybe until we get a hold of something, this is also a living document, maybe you consider it. And at such time, you repeal it if you want to put a different policy in place. But until now, it just lets everybody know we're on the same page, that we're just not going to do anything with city property until we kind of flush out what's going on. And with that, I'll leave it with you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. I do want to make the distinction between loan and rent. The city has in the past rented real estate. They've rented the bottom section of the city hall building. They have rented the schoolhouse for events in the past. And this was never a loan situation. It was always a rental situation with the backhoe. I'm not sure if that is a difference for you for that consideration, but there's never been a situation where the backhoe is just simply loaned out without a cost or without a liability waiver. Is that, Ms. Miller, is that your understanding?
If you would like me to maybe even reword the resolution or something like that, I feel like there should be some sort, whatever, there isn't a standing policy on, even if it's a rental, how is that rental happening? Because what do they get to use or what do they have to qualify for? I understand that civic buildings are generally rented, or tent camping and RV camping and things like that. You carry a general liability if something happens. But you're talking about heavy equipment where the likelihood of something happening is then exponentially increased. Who does the maintenance? Provides the gas for the diesel? Who provides the insurance? So my understanding is this was a community bought piece of equipment, but then the question is, then why are we carrying liability on it and why are we maintaining it? If it's city owned property, then we need those maintenance records. We need those to keep track of those things for that reason. And if it's not city property, well, then they need to take care of it and let's get it off of our insurance schedule. So if there is a policy of rental, we need a good policy for that.
Councilmember Brown.
I'd like to just read aloud for clarification, Section 2, prohibition. I think it will shine a little bit of clarity, and then I'd like to tag that once I read it. No city-owned vehicle, equipment, tool, machinery, technology, furniture, material, supply, key, access, device, or other city-owned property shall be loaned, borrowed, rented, donated, assigned, transferred, or otherwise made available for personal use of any individual, organization, business, nonprofit entity, volunteer, elected official, employee, contractor, or other person unless specifically authorized by city council through a written agreement or otherwise authorized by law. And I just felt like that was important to read out loud. And there's no apples to apples here, but I did want to compare something. City-owned vehicle. We don't own very many of these. I know we're talking about maybe the backhoe in this particular instance due to the recent event. Another, say, city-owned vehicle that we do have is the fire engine, which of course is for a certain purpose. And so again, not apples to apples comparison, but that wouldn't be something that we would say lend out to a neighboring town to put out a fire for a fee and then have them change the oil. So I just wanted to toss it out there, even though it's not quite a one-to-one comparison. I am in support of this.
I'd like to table it. I would, I'm sorry. I just have more thoughts about it, but I just wanted to read this better. So,
So
Okay.
looking to table until the next regular council meeting, would that give enough time?
yeah.
And we're not in any danger right now of anyone renting or loaning the backhoe,
Right.
considering it is bricked. So, all right, so I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2026-12, a resolution establishing a public policy prohibiting the loan of a city-owned property. Do I hear a motion for that?
With all due respect, I would make the motion to accept it.
Councilmember Brown has made a motion to accept Resolution 2026-12, a prohibition on loaning or renting city-owned property. Do I hear a second? All right, without a second, this is not going to pass. Could we, Ms. Miller, can we table this? Can we make a motion?
Yes, I would then make the motion to table resolution 2026-12 to revisit at the next regular council meeting in July.
Oh, second.
Okay, and this is not necessarily to kill this
No.
resolution, but to give the council a little bit more time to review the details of it. All right, so I've got a motion to table resolution 2026-12 until the next regular city council meeting, and I have a second. Ms. Miller, do you have any comment on this?
I will wait until after, but I would like some clarification on these two motions.
Well, we have a motion and a second to table this resolution 2026-11 until, 2026-12 to table this to the next council meeting. Do you have a question about that motion and that second?
Parliamentary procedure, Mayor, respectfully, it was not seconded, therefore it can't be tabled.
Okay. All right, so it was not seconded. So Councilmember Kegel and Councilmember Brown can review it and request to put this back on the agenda for the next city council meeting. Is that the way you'd like to do it procedurally?
I would have to look up the procedure, but my understanding is it's dead.
Okay. Well, like you said, it would have been a living document if it existed, and it could have been repealed, and therefore it can be brought back to life if we want to do that.
Okay, all right.
Okay. All right. Number 13 here is resolution 2026-14, referring the proposed chart.
Mayor,
I'm
we
sorry.
didn't get a vote on, we had a motion on the floor
To table.
to table.
Oh,
So you said we could.
right, but you pointed out procedurally that we can't table it. So you want us to vote in the negative on it?
You
Gotcha.
still have to vote on it.
All right, so I've got yes. All right, so we've got a motion and a second to table resolution 2026-12. All in favor? Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
Councilmember Kegel?
Are we saying no?
That's the danger of forcing the vote on this. It could be voted yes.
Well, the motion to table.
So Ms. Miller is saying as a point of order, we've made a motion and had a second
Yes.
to table resolution 2026-12, but it was not originally seconded.
So we can't table it.
Wait,
so we should
may
say
I?
no?
May I, Miss Miller, and tell me if I'm missing the point here. There was an original motion to pass the resolution that was made by me. It was not seconded by Councilor Cagle. So typically that would have then fallen off. Not knowing that, then I made the motion to table this for the next meeting, and you agreed, seconded to it. So since there is a motion on the table, despite what the parliamentary procedure is, let's go ahead and vote on that original motion and second to table this for the next meeting, and then we can review and see where we want to go from there.
Do you want to vote in the negative so you don't?
I don't understand what you mean.
Well, Ms. Miller is saying that because it wasn't seconded, it's dead, and so you can't table it. But the motion second has been made to table it, and she's saying that you have to vote because a motion and a second has been made. But if it passes, it's past a dead resolution.
Can we look at Ms. Miller for some guidance here, please?
Ms. Miller, can you clarify that for us?
I apologize if you hear my screechy bird in the background. He's being naughty. So as far as I don't think it's going to matter either way. If you vote no, then you could. If it were me, I would vote to bring it back next instead of tabling it. You're bringing it back to the agenda. I don't know that it matters either way, honestly. I just wanted to make sure that we understood what was happening.
Thank
That
you.
I understood what was happening.
My recommendation to the council is that we're going to have this vote, and I would recommend that you both vote no, and therefore we can just have Ms. Miller bring it back as an agenda item
Thank you.
next. Does that sound plausible, Ms. Miller?
Absolutely. What?
Okay. So this time I'm going to vote on the motion to table Resolution 2026-12, a resolution establishing a policy prohibiting the loan of city-owned property.
Okay.
All right, this is to table it, so I'm going to call for the vote now. Ms. Brown, how do you vote?
Yeah, in the sake of mental gymnastics, I vote no.
Okay, all right. Let the record show that with 0 yeas, 2 nays, and 0 abstention, Resolution 2026-12 has not passed. Well, the motion to table Resolution 2026-12 has not passed.
Let's move on,
Okay, everybody ready to move on?
please.
All right. Agenda item number 13, Resolution 2026-14, referring a proposed charter amendment to the voters of Shaniko. And Ms. Miller, will you speak to this, please?
Sure. Let me get over to my screen here. So in providing you with the ultimate prospects for a city recorder, my understanding is the resolution that was passed to allow a city recorder to not live in the city limits and still run in the elections. If you don't know, people can pass illegal charter provisions, and it actually happened in one of my former cities. And what would happen is then you would have to take it to circuit court if it was illegal. But people have the right to vote in illegal things if they don't check them with state law and all those things. But so if somebody were, let's say, in Antelope, they could technically run for your city. And if you just remove that barrier of like, are they a qualified elector in the county of Wasco? Or if you just remove that barrier, you could get somebody from, Maupin or Wasco or Grass Valley or wherever, remote if you wanted to, and you don't have to worry about this qualified elector business. So.
Great.
And what that's going to entail is sending the resolution over to the city attorney, asking them to prepare a ballot title, me approving the ballot title, and sending it to the county clerk. I've spoke with the county clerk. She should have the dates of when those deadlines are. She said hopefully by the end of this week, probably next week. So we are a little bit ahead of the game, but putting it out to the voters so that maybe it opens up options for you.
And Miss Miller, would this be in the November election that it would be on the ballot if passed?
Correct.
Thank you. I've got
Uh,
another clarifying question.
Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
Um, Being that these will run parallel to each other, again, if we adopt Resolution 2026-14 to update the charter, this measure will go on the ballot. I imagine that since it will not have passed yet, then we will also have, right, an election for the city recorder on the same ballot. Can you talk about what that would look like, or if I'm misunderstanding how that works in parallel with each other?
If you do get somebody who runs, my understanding is that that person would take their seat and moving forward, they wouldn't have to run again. And now they would become just a regular employee. It was happening the other way around in my former city where it was a paid position turning to an elected position, which meant that person didn't in my mind, they would have to run at the very next election, just like a city councilor. But in this situation, they wouldn't have to run again. So if you get somebody, and then also if they don't stay, you don't have to appoint somebody. You can just hire them.
So are you saying that if someone runs in November as the city recorder and wins the election, if this is on the ballot to change the rules for the recorder from an elected position, then that would be the last election that anybody runs for the recorder, and that person who was elected instantly becomes a
They
oh
Well,
no,
I don't know if they become because they were elected. I don't know if they automatically become just a paid employee. However, they don't have to run again.
gotcha. Okay. Councilmember Kegel or Councilmember Brown, do you have any questions or comments on this?
Mm-mm.
Is there anything you'd like to add to this, Miss Miller?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. All right, so at this time, I would accept a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-14, which is referring a proposed charter amendment to the voters of Shaniko.
I'll make motion.
Got a motion from Councilmember Kegel. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Got a second from Councilmember Brown. Is there any more discussion on this? All right, at this time, I'm going to call for the vote on the motion to approve Resolution 2026-14, a resolution referring a proposed charter change to the voters of Shaniko. Councilmember Kegel, how do you vote?
I vote yay.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
So let the record show that with 2 yays, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions, the motion to approve Resolution 2026-14 has passed. All right, our final item on the agenda today is Resolution 2026-15, which is that's the Shaniko elections are to receive state funds.
Declaring the city of Shaniko's election to receive state shared revenues. On the screen.
Ms. Miller, do you want to speak to this briefly?
You're on mute, Miss Miller.
Yes, my bird is nodding. Our budget, we did not have this resolution, and I apologize that it was last minute. When you had mentioned it, Mayor, was there something else? It seemed like there was, but we had all three of the things in the same resolution, and this is to allow your cigarette tax, your liquor tax, and marijuana tax. You have to elect to receive them. I'm happy to read it or happy to move on.
That feels like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I don't think we need to read that. Is there any more discussion on this before I call for before I entertain a motion?
Mm-mm.
No? All right, so at this point, I would entertain a motion to pass Resolution 2026-15. Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I make a motion. Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, so I've got a motion and a second from the council to adopt Resolution 2026-15, which is for the city of Shaniko to receive state funds for its elections. Is there any more discussion?
None.
All right, Councilmember Kegel, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilmember Brown, how do you vote?
Yay.
Let the record show that with 2 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions, the resolution 2026-15 has passed. All right, it is now.
Just real quick before we adjourn, in regards to the trash service tomorrow, it'll be picked up in the afternoon. So I just wanted to let council know that service will be taking place tomorrow in the afternoon, and I'll be sending a text to residents so that they know rather than the morning, as per usual, they'll be getting their trash picked up in the afternoon.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Brown. At this time, it's 10 minutes after 7 o'clock on June 11th, 2026. I'm adjourning this meeting of the City of Shaniko.